This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have a very exciting episode for you. I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada at my brother's house. And yes, my brother is growing some food in his backyard. And that's exactly why we are here today. Unfortunately, my brother doesn't yet eat as many fruits and vegetables as I like him to. And actually, he got a chicken burrito earlier today. But in any case, I'm glad he's growing some fruit and nuts in his backyard so that when I come over, I could pig out and eat some of them. So first, we're gonna go to Whole Foods to show you how easy it is to buy nuts in the bulk bins or just buy the package in bulk. Then we're gonna come back to my brother's house to show you how it would be in nature if you had to pick your own nuts to eat. So first, to Whole Foods! So now we're inside of the Whole Foods and we're near the bulk section. As you know, many bulk bins, you can buy mostly any food in bulk, but do you know how much effort goes into the preparing before it even gets in the bulk bins? And when you want to eat, say, some raw almonds, right? You just simply roll off a bag, you take the bag, put it underneath your bulk bin. Here's some organic whole almonds, $7.99 a pound. And check it out, all you do, take your hand and lift this up, and you can see all the almonds instantly in a few seconds go in your bag. And just that amount of almonds, we easily just fill 2 pounds of almonds in our little sack. But the one thing you might not know is that these almonds, because even though they are raw, if they are from California, they have been pasteurized either by steam or worse, by chemicals. And yes, even if they are organic. So next door, actually, luckily in this Whole Foods, they actually have raw Italian almonds, which we'll take a look at next and show you how easy it is to just get those out of the shell and all. So these are the Italian almonds, and these ones, because they're from Italy, they're raw. Always on the back, you want to check the product of Italy. So make sure they're from out of the country, and they will be raw, but nonetheless, $7.99 for 11 ounces. And you know, pick up the box, check them out, and they're yours. No working for it. So now we're off to my brother's backyard. So in my brother's backyard, he has a fruit trees, including a peach, almond, and a pear tree. Right now we have pears and almonds that are ripe and ready to eat. So you just saw how easy it is to get a lot of almonds by literally lifting up the thing on the bulk bin, and you just get a massive amount. So next, let me show you how it is to harvest some almonds out of the tree. It's not simply as easy as lifting the bulk bin to get a massive amount of almonds that you could literally shovel into your mouth. So let's climb a fence and pick some almonds. So depending on how tall the tree is, you may have to, you know, stand on your tiptoes, climb a fence, or even get a ladder to harvest almonds, because almond trees can get pretty large. Luckily, we have a fence that I'm just gonna climb up on top of and walk down so I can harvest some ripe almonds. So now I'm standing on the fence, and you can see all the almonds in this tree. They're like little fruits, you know, much like a peach or an apricot. The almond nut is actually just a little fruit inside the fruit itself, and what happens is when it gets ripe, you can see here's one right here, the outer husk, it literally just cracks open, and on the inside it tells you when the nut is ready to fall out. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully pick one of those, and we're going to show you how hard it is to get inside of one of those so you could get one almond. Alright, so here's an almond ready and open for us. So you can see we just carefully picked it. One of the signs to know when an almond is ripe is that when you pick it, it'll carefully come off in your hands without like pulling and tugging. Like say this one, if we pulled and tugged, well, that one came off pretty easy too. I mean, most of these almonds are ready to be harvested. So next, what you do is after you got the fruit off, and this is a non-edible fruit, you would basically, the outside anyways, you'd open it up, and on the inside, you'd see this is just the peel of the fruit, non-edible. Then you'd have like the almond in the shell. So the almond is now in the shell here. Now we have to do is break open the shell, and now we have one little almond. So if I want another one, I'd have to do the same thing over again. So I could eat this one. Man, that's the best almond. And off the tree, they have a higher moisture content in general than the ones in the store. Once again, here's another one. We could open this one up and here's the almond in the shell. This shell is not going to be as easy to open. We're going to have to open this one up. And there we go, another almond. So now if I want more, I got to keep harvesting. So I'm harvesting probably about the last almond off the tree, and here it is. This is taking probably about at least a half hour. Harvest all these almonds. We have all these almonds in the husks or in the fruit. Then we're gonna take them out, and then they'll be in the nut. We need to crack all these open. And we'll come back at you a little bit later to show you how many almonds like this one backyard tree yielded. And it's probably gonna not yield as much as you get in one fall swoop of the bulk bin at your local Whole Foods or other health food store. So you just saw picking the whole bag of almonds in the shell and the husk. The almonds got dehusks and deshelled. Now that process that you didn't get to see took several hours, from taking off all the husks and then actually using a nutcracker to take off the shells. And then we got a grand total of 14.5 ounces of almonds off that big tree, off that big bag, once they've been entirely shelled. So as you saw earlier when I was at Whole Foods, I just opened up that bulk bin, man, boom, and like 2 pounds of almonds came into my, bag. And it literally took, hours to harvest just 14.5 ounces, doing it with manual labor. So next, I'm gonna go back to when I harvested the almonds and talk more about the almonds that I've harvested. So as you can see, if you want as many almonds as you would get in the bulk bins by simply lifting a lever, you would literally be in this tree for quite a while. It probably took me about a minute or so to pick it, open it up, and get the nut out. And then you have to do another one, and think, many raw food recipes use way too many nuts. Those are like 2 cups of nuts, 3 cups of nuts, and your nut patés and other things. It'd take you a long time to harvest that many almonds. I believe that nature does things for a reason, and almonds are hard to pick for a reason, because they don't want you to eat that many. I mean, after all, the almonds, the purpose of the almonds are not to feed people and other creatures on earth. It's so that the almond tree can reproduce. They'll drop the almond seeds or the nuts would then grow into another tree. And if people or animals ate all the nuts, there would be no such thing as almond trees in nature. So think about that next time before you start putting cups and cups full of almonds or any nuts into your raw food recipes. In nature, we wouldn't really be eating that many. So oftentimes I look to nature for answers, and in this case, I believe nature is telling us not to eat that many concentrated foods such as nuts. Next, let's go over to the pear tree to show you how easy it is to eat a pear right out of the tree and how quickly that can be done. So now we're gonna get up in the pear tree. Got my handy dandy stepping stool here. We're gonna get to the level where all the ripe pears are. So you can see here, once again, on pears and other fruits, you want to only pick them when they're ripe as possible. These, in my opinion, may need a couple more weeks, but these are pretty good. They're fairly good eating now. One of the ways to know that they're ripe is that when you go to pick it off, you could basically pull it off fairly easy without a lot of tugging. So these ones are not pulling off fairly easily, so we can see if there's any other ones on the tree. This one pulled off rather easily. But you can see, to pick a pear or other fruits that are fruits, not nuts, we can literally pick it and we can eat it really easily. So for our effort, we will be rewarded much easier with, number one, a water-rich fruit, which is a fruit which contains water, fiber, phytochemicals, micronutrients, and minerals. A lot easier. So in nature, we would generally eat a lot more fruits than we would nuts. So that's definitely something to consider. So you just saw how easy it was to pick that pear out of the tree, and I just want to remind you, in nature, naturally, we wouldn't be buying bags of almonds. We'd literally be taking hours to pick this many almonds. So in nature, we wouldn't naturally be eating that many nuts and seeds as I see many people do in the raw foods lifestyle. I would encourage everybody to focus on eating a small portion of nuts and seeds every day, and my goal is 1 handful of nuts. So if you're a big guy, you're gonna have a bigger hand. If you're a small lady, you're gonna have a smaller hand. And guess what? That's about an approximation of a proper serving size. If that, some people will do better on less, and you might need a bit more. Sometimes I give myself 2 handfuls a day, but that's tops. I strive not to go over that amount of nuts. It can drastically increase the amount of fat in your diet. Now, Yes, it's a raw fat, and some people in raw food say, oh, if it's a raw fat, if it's raw, it's all right. No, just because it's a raw fat doesn't make it all right. And especially things like almonds. So many people eat things like almonds and sunflower seeds in the raw foods diet. And when you do that, besides all the fat you're eating a diet very high in omega-6s. And when you do that, your body gets out of whack because we need a balance of omega-3s to omega-6s. So if you're eating almonds and sunflower seeds, you better start jacking up and also eat a lot of flax seeds. The much easier thing to do is just eat a lower percentage of all nuts and seeds, and if you focus on greens and fruits and actually don't eat any nuts, your omega-3 to 6 balance is actually going to be really good because greens contain small amounts of omega-3s, and when you don't eat things like nuts that jack your omega-6s, actually you're going to be alright. So once again, my point to this video was that in nature, we wouldn't naturally be eating this many nuts, but we would be eating, once again, fruits. And you can see behind me, I have my tobacco trees, and these are similar to a papaya, and they're getting ready to harvest. And once they are, man, I'm just going to grab these and eat them. And it's just real simple, no dehusking or no shelling required. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and it made you think a little bit before you start grabbing nuts out of the bulk bin and shove them into your mouth unconsciously without thinking. So hopefully you'll think of this video and how much time it took me, literally several hours, to harvest just 14.5 ounces of nuts. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com, encouraging you to eat your fruits and vegetables. They're the best.